Jacques, the Galaxy's Warriors. First document. The Zephyrian battleship. Dominion's edge hung in the void like a metallic predator, its hull gleaming with energy shields that could deflect asteroids. Commander Vextar stood on the bridge, his four arms crossed as he watched the primitive blue planet through the viewing screen. His species had conquered 17 star systems in the past decade, and this backwater world called Earth would be number 18. "Sir, we're receiving transmission requests from the planet," reported his communications officer, a spider-like creature with 12 eyes that blinked in sequence. "Ignore them," Vextar growled, his mandibles clicking with amusement. "Let them waste their breath. Deploy the scouting pods to major population centers. I want to see what kind of resistance these humans can offer." The Zephyrian Empire had built its reputation on overwhelming technological superiority. Their plasma rifles could melt through solid steel in seconds. Their energy shields made them nearly invulnerable to primitive projectile weapons. Their exoskeletons enhanced their already formidable strength tenfold. Every species they had encountered had fallen within days, sometimes hours. Earth would be no different. The first scouting pods descended through Earth's atmosphere like falling stars, their heat-resistant hulls glowing as they passed through the clouds. The pods landed in strategic locations: New York, London, Beijing, Moscow, and a dozen other major cities. Each pod carried a squad of 12 Zephyrian warriors equipped with the finest military technology in the galaxy. In New York, the pod crashed into Central Park with a thunderous impact that shattered windows for 6 blocks. Steam rose from the crater as the pod's doors hissed open. The Zephyrian squad emerged, their reptilian features hidden behind advanced combat helmets that provided complete environmental data. Their leader, Captain Zorthak, surveyed the gathering crowd of humans with contempt. "Primitive bipeds," he muttered into his comm unit. "No visible weapons, no armor, no defensive positions. This will be easier than the Centauri rebellion." The humans were indeed gathering, but not in panic. They seemed curious, some even pointing strange rectangular devices at the aliens. Zorthak had encountered this behavior before. Primitive species often documented their own conquest, as if recording their defeat would somehow matter to history. "Attention, creatures of Earth," Zorthak announced through his suit's external speakers. His voice boomed across the park in perfect English, translated by his universal communication matrix. "You are now subjects of the Zephyrian Empire. Resistance is futile. Submit, and your deaths will be quick." A human in what appeared to be a military uniform stepped forward. The primitive creature had numerous small metal objects attached to its chest and carried what looked like an ancient kinetic weapon. Zorthak almost laughed at the sight. "I'm General Marcus Stone of the United States Army," the human said calmly. "We're prepared to discuss terms of surrender, but first we need to evacuate civilians from this area." "Terms?" Zorthak's mandibles clicked in amusement. "You misunderstand your situation, primitive. You have nothing to negotiate with." General Stone nodded slowly, then spoke into a small device attached to his collar. "This is Overlord Actual. Execute Protocol 7. I repeat, Protocol 7 is now active." Zorthak's combat analysis system immediately began scanning for threats. Protocol 7 meant nothing to the Zephyrian database. It was probably some meaningless human bureaucratic procedure. "Your primitive codes mean nothing to us," Zorthak declared. "Demonstrate our superiority. Target the tall structures." His squad raised their plasma rifles in unison. The weapons hummed to life, energy coils glowing bright blue as they charged. Zorthak selected the nearest skyscraper and fired. The plasma bolt streaked through the air and struck the building's facade, instantly melting a hole 3 meters wide through the reinforced concrete and steel. The humans scattered, but not in the chaotic panic Zorthak expected. They moved with purpose, following predetermined evacuation routes. Their military personnel maintained formation and established defensive perimeters. It was almost disciplined. "Sir," one of his warriors reported, "the humans are exhibiting tactical awareness beyond their technological level." "Irrelevant," Zorthak replied. "Tactics cannot overcome technological superiority. Continue the demonstration." More plasma bolts struck the building, each one carving deeper into the structure. The Zephyrians had done this on dozens of worlds. The display of power usually broke the spirit of resistance immediately, but these humans seemed strangely calm. Then Zorthak heard something that made his blood run cold. Silence. Not the silence of a dead world, but the deliberate, calculated silence of a predator choosing its moment to strike. The city's ambient noise had faded. No more shouting, no more vehicle engines, no more electronic chatter. Even the humans who remained visible had stopped talking. "Squad, report," Zorthak commanded. "Perimeter secure, sir. No immediate threats detected." But Zorthak's enhanced senses told him otherwise. His species had evolved on a world where silence meant danger. Every instinct screamed that something was wrong. The first shot came from somewhere impossible to detect. Private Kesselok, who had been standing 3 meters to Zorthak's left, simply collapsed. His plasma rifle clattered to the ground as his body hit the earth with a wet thud. "Contact!" Zorthak shouted, raising his energy shield. "Enemy fire! Defensive positions!" The squad scattered, their enhanced reflexes allowing them to move faster than human eyes could follow. Their energy shields flickered to life, creating translucent barriers that had stopped everything from laser cannons to antimatter missiles. The second shot punched through Warrior Hexvon's shield as if it didn't exist. The energy barrier sparked and failed as something small and fast penetrated it completely, continuing through the alien's armored chest and out the other side. Hexvon looked down at the hole in his torso with surprise before falling backward. "Impossible," Zorthak breathed. "Their primitive projectiles cannot penetrate our shields." A third shot rang out. This time, Zorthak saw the muzzle flash from a window 17 floors up in a building 400 meters away. The bullet struck Sergeant Drexmar in the head with such force that it cracked his combat helmet and dropped him instantly. 3 shots, 3 dead Zephyrians. No return fire possible because the shooter was too far away and too well concealed. "Command, this is Ground Team Alpha," Zorthak spoke rapidly into his comm. "We are taking casualties from an unknown human weapon system, requesting immediate air support." "Negative, Alpha Team. No aerial threats detected. What is your status?" Before Zorthak could respond, a 4th shot echoed across the park. The bullet found its mark in Specialist Quindar's neck, severing his spinal cord with surgical precision. "The humans have some kind of advanced sniper weapon," Zorthak reported, his voice tight with growing fear. "It's penetrating our shields and armor like they're not there." "Impossible," came the reply from the ship. "Earth technology is centuries behind our defensive capabilities." A 5th shot proved the ship wrong. Corporal Ziktesh spun and fell, dark blood pooling beneath his body. Zorthak's squad was in full retreat now, using buildings and vehicles for cover. But cover seemed meaningless against whatever was hunting them. The shots came from different directions each time, suggesting multiple snipers working in coordination. "This is Captain Zorthak," he transmitted to all pods simultaneously. "All ground teams, report status immediately." The responses chilled him to his bones. "London team, 7 casualties. Unknown weapons penetrating all defenses." "Beijing team, 9 down. Sniper fire from extreme range." "Moscow team, complete loss of contact after 11 casualties reported." Across the globe, the story was the same. The most advanced military force in the galaxy was being systematically eliminated by weapons that shouldn't have been able to scratch their armor. General Stone's voice suddenly filled the park, amplified by speakers hidden throughout the area. "Captain Zorthak, This is your first and final warning. Order your forces to withdraw immediately, or we will continue demonstrating why Earth has never been conquered." "Never been conquered?" Zorthak laughed bitterly. "Your planet is primitive. We have plasma weapons, energy shields, faster than light travel." "And we have something you don't," Stone replied calmly. "We have warriors who learned to fight each other for 10,000 years before you arrived." Another shot rang out. Another Zephyrian fell. Zorthak looked at his remaining squad members, only 4 still alive out of 12 elite warriors. Each was a veteran of multiple campaigns, equipped with technology that had overwhelmed entire star systems. Yet they were being hunted like prey by invisible enemies using primitive kinetic weapons. "How?" he whispered into his comm. "How are they doing this?" The answer came not from his ship, but from General Stone. "You're fighting the descendants of creatures who killed mammoth with sharp sticks, Captain. We've had a very long time to get good at killing things." The truth hit Zorthak like a physical blow. The Zephyrian Empire had conquered 17 star systems, but every species they'd defeated had been peaceful for millennia. They'd fought explorers, scientists, and diplomats. They'd never faced a species that had spent its entire evolutionary history perfecting the art of war. Earth wasn't a primitive world. Earth was a warrior planet, and they had just declared war on humanity. The galaxy's warriors. Second document, Commander Vextar paced the bridge of Dominion's edge, his confidence cracking like fractured armor. The reports streaming in from ground teams painted an impossible picture. Elite Zephyrian warriors equipped with technology that had crushed civilizations were being systematically eliminated by what appeared to be individual human soldiers using primitive ballistic weapons. "Sir, we've lost contact with 60% of our ground forces," his tactical officer reported, his voice trembling. "The remaining teams are requesting immediate extraction." "Impossible," Vextar snarled. "Deploy the atmospheric fighters. I want every human position in those cities reduced to ash." 20 sleek Zephyrian fighter craft descended from the mothership, their engines screaming through Earth's atmosphere. Each fighter carried enough firepower to level a city block and was protected by energy shields that could deflect cruise missiles. The pilots were the best in the galaxy, veterans of the Andromeda campaigns. Squadron leader Thexeral led the formation toward New York, his sensors locking onto heat signatures throughout the city. The humans had made a critical error by engaging from fixed positions. Once identified, those positions would be eliminated from orbit. "Control, this is Razorblade Squadron. Beginning attack run on sniper positions. Estimate 90 seconds to target elimination." But as the fighters descended below cloud level, something extraordinary happened. Streaks of light began rising from the city below. Not the crude missiles Thexeral expected, but precisely aimed energy beams that his computers couldn't identify. "Evasive action!" he commanded. But it was too late. The first beam struck Fighter 7's starboard engine with surgical precision. The craft spiraled out of control and crashed into the Hudson River. The second beam destroyed Fighter 12's weapon systems, forcing an emergency landing. "How are they hitting us?" Thexeral demanded of his tactical computer. "Our stealth systems should make us invisible to their primitive sensors." His answer came from an unexpected source. General Stone's voice filled the fighter squadron's communication channels, somehow penetrating their encrypted military frequencies. "Your stealth technology is impressive, Squadron Leader, but you're fighting a species that invented radar during our Second Global War. We've been tracking you since you entered our atmosphere." Thexeral's blood turned to ice. The humans had cracked Zephyrian military encryption and were actively monitoring their communications. More energy beams lanced upward from the city, each one finding its target with impossible accuracy. "These aren't primitive weapons," his wingman reported. "Our computer analysis suggests these energy signatures match our own plasma technology." "Impossible!" Humans don't have access to plasma weapons. But the evidence was undeniable. The beams striking their fighters were modified Zephyrian plasma rifles, somehow integrated with human targeting systems and power sources. As more fighters fell from the sky, Thexral realized the terrifying truth. Humanity was adapting their technology in real time. Back on the surface, Captain Zorthak crouched behind an overturned vehicle, his squad reduced to just 2 survivors. The sniper fire had stopped, but he could hear something far worse approaching. Human vehicles moving in coordinated formation. Command, the humans are advancing on our position with mechanized units, requesting orbital bombardment on our coordinates. Negative, ground team. We cannot risk damaging the planet's infrastructure. The Empire wants this world intact for colonization. Zorthak closed his eyes in despair. The Empire's standard doctrine was proving to be humanity's greatest advantage. Zephyrian forces were trained for quick, overwhelming victories that left planets suitable for immediate occupation. They had never faced an enemy willing to fight for every meter of their home world. The first human tank rounded the corner, its angular design primitive compared to Zephyrian hover tanks. But mounted on its turret was something that made Zorthak's heart skip a beat. A captured Zephyrian plasma cannon, jerry-rigged to the tank's power systems with cables and mechanical connections that looked like they'd been assembled in a garage. "Sir," his surviving warrior whispered, "how did they integrate our technology so quickly?" The answer came from the tank's external speakers. A human voice, calm and professional, addressed them in perfect Zephyrian. "Captain Zorthak, this is Colonel Sarah Chen, United States Marine Corps. We've been monitoring your communications. You're surrounded, outnumbered, and cut off from extraction. I'm offering you one chance to surrender." "You speak our language," Zorthak replied, struggling to maintain his composure. "How?" "We had 3 hours to work on it while you were positioning your forces. Our linguistics teams are very good at their job. What's your answer, Captain?" 3 hours. The humans had learned enough Zephyrian in 3 hours to hold tactical conversations. Zorthak's own xenolinguistics experts needed weeks to achieve basic communication with new species. "We demand to speak with your military commander," Zorthak said, playing for time. "You are speaking with a military commander. I have authorization to negotiate your surrender or eliminate your position. Choose quickly." More human vehicles appeared from different directions. Zorthak counted 12 tanks, all equipped with captured alien weapons. Behind them came infantry units carrying what looked like modified Zephyrian energy rifles. The humans had somehow reverse-engineered and mass-produced their technology in a matter of hours. "This is impossible," he breathed. "Your technology level is centuries behind ours. You should not be able to adapt our weapons." Colonel Chen's response chilled him to his core. "Captain, you've made the same mistake every invader in human history has made. You assumed that primitive technology meant primitive minds. We've been reverse-engineering enemy weapons since we figured out how to sharpen sticks. The only difference now is that we're very, very good at it." Reports flooded in from across the globe. London team had been surrounded by human forces using captured plasma weapons. Beijing team was under siege from modified Zephyrian drones that had been hacked and turned against their creators. Moscow team had gone silent after reporting human forces equipped with functional energy shields stripped from fallen warriors. In orbit, Commander Vexitar watched his invasion force disintegrate in real time. His species had built their empire on the assumption that technological superiority guaranteed victory. But humanity was demonstrating something the galaxy had never seen before, a species capable of adapting enemy technology faster than the enemy could deploy it. "Sir," his communications officer reported, "we're receiving a transmission from the planet's surface. It's on our own command frequency." "That's impossible. Those frequencies are quantum encrypted." "Yes, sir, but the transmission is authentic. It's coming from multiple locations across the planet's surface." "Put it through." the main screen filled with the image of an elderly human male in military uniform. His hair was white, his face lined with age, but his eyes held the cold intelligence of a veteran warrior. "I am General Harold Morrison, Supreme Allied Commander of Earth's Defense Forces. You are Commander Vexitar of the Zephyrian battlecruiser Dominion's Edge. We need to talk." Vexitar's mandibles clicked in shock. The human knew his name, his rank, and his ship's designation. Information that should have been impossible to obtain. "How do you know this information?" "We've been listening to your communications since you entered our solar system. We broke your encryption approximately 2 hours ago. We know your fleet strength, your battle plans, and your home planet's coordinates." The bridge fell silent. Every Zephyrian officer stared at the screen in disbelief. "Furthermore," General Morrison continued, "we know that your empire has never faced genuine military resistance. You've conquered explorers, scientists, and peaceful civilizations. You've never fought a warrior species." "You call yourselves warriors?" Vexitar laughed, though the sound held no humor. "You have no space fleet, no energy weapons, no faster-than-light capability." "That was true this morning," Morrison replied calmly. "It's less true now. We've learned a great deal from your advanced forces." As if to emphasize his point, proximity alarms began screaming throughout the Zephyrian ship. The tactical display showed multiple new contacts approaching from Earth's surface, objects moving too fast and too straight to be natural phenomena. "Sir," the sensor operator called out, "I'm reading 12 missile contacts climbing toward our position. They're moving faster than any projectile in their known arsenal. Intercept with point defense systems." The ship's automated defenses engaged, sending streams of energy toward the ascending missiles. But as the defensive beams struck their targets, something impossible happened. The missiles didn't explode. Instead, they began broadcasting on Zephyrian military frequencies. "Dominion's Edge. This is Missile Package Alpha," came a human voice. "These are demonstration shots only. Each missile carries a 40-megaton nuclear warhead and your own navigation technology. If we wanted you dead, you would be dead already." Vexitar watched in horror as 12 human nuclear weapons, somehow equipped with captured Zephyrian guidance systems, performed perfect intercept maneuvers around his ship before retreating toward Earth's atmosphere. "How?" he whispered. General Morrison smiled grimly. "Commander, your species has had faster-than-light travel for 3,000 years, but you've been at peace for most of that time. Humanity has been at war for its entire existence. We've spent 10,000 years learning how to turn anything into a weapon. Your technology is impressive, but you've given it to the most militaristic species in the galaxy." The truth hit Vexitar like a physical blow. The Zephyrian Empire had built its power by conquering peaceful civilizations with overwhelming technological advantage. But Earth wasn't a peaceful civilization. Earth was where warriors came from, and they had just taught humanity how to build starships. The galaxy's warriors. Third Document General Morrison appeared on every screen throughout the Zephyrian fleet, his image broadcasting on frequencies that should have been impossible for humans to access. Behind him, Vexitar could see human technicians working with captured Zephyrian equipment, their hands moving with the confident precision of people who understood exactly what they were doing. "Commander Vexitar," Morrison said, "let me explain your situation. In the 6 hours since your invasion began, humanity has accomplished several things that I suspect your military analysts will find interesting." The elderly general gestured to someone off-screen. The display split, showing technical readouts that made Vexitar's blood run cold. "First, we've reverse-engineered your faster-than-light communication systems. We're now in direct contact with 47 star systems in your empire. They're very interested to learn about your invasion of Earth." "Impossible," Vexitar breathed. "Second, We've successfully modified your plasma weapons for mass production. Our factories are currently producing approximately 3,000 modified plasma rifles per hour. By tomorrow, every human soldier on the planet will be carrying weapons equivalent to your finest military equipment. The display showed production lines in what appeared to be converted automobile factories. Humans in work clothes assembled Zephyrian plasma rifles with assembly line efficiency, their movements quick and practiced. Third, Morrison continued, we've successfully test-fired a faster-than-light capable missile using your own navigation technology. Range unlimited. Payload sufficient to crack a planet. Current target, your homeworld of Zephyr Prime. Vexitar's 4 hearts stopped beating. You're bluffing. We don't bluff, Commander. We demonstrate. The screen changed to show a view of space from Earth's orbital platforms. A sleek missile, clearly built using human manufacturing techniques but equipped with Zephyrian technology, sat ready for launch. As they watched, the missile's engines ignited and it vanished into faster-than-light space. Transit time to Zephyr Prime is approximately 14 hours, Morrison said calmly. The missile will detonate in your star system's asteroid belt as a demonstration of capability. Your planetary defense network will detect the explosion and confirm our reach. This is insane, Vexitar stammered. You've had our technology for less than a day. Commander, may I share something with you? Humanity has been refining the art of warfare for our entire evolutionary history. We've fought with sticks and stones, bronze and iron, gunpowder and nuclear weapons. We've had global wars that lasted years and killed millions. We've developed tactics, strategy, logistics, and military engineering to a degree that no peaceful species could imagine. The display changed again, showing human military installations across Earth. But these weren't the primitive bases Vexitar had observed from orbit. In 6 hours, humanity had constructed defensive positions using Zephyrian technology. Energy barriers protected major cities. Plasma cannons occupied strategic positions. Anti-aircraft systems capable of intercepting faster-than-light vehicles dotted the landscape. Your technology is impressive, Morrison continued, but you've given it to a species that has spent 10,000 years learning how to kill efficiently. We've been waiting our entire history for weapons this good. A new voice joined the conversation. Captain Zorthak, broadcasting from his position on the surface. Command, the humans have offered terms for my surrender. They want to discuss prisoner exchange. Terms? Vexitar's mandibles clicked nervously. What terms? General Morrison answered instead. Captain Zorthak and his surviving warriors will be treated according to the Geneva Convention, which we're extending to cover extraterrestrial combatants. They'll be housed, fed, and cared for as prisoners of war. In exchange, Commander Vexitar will withdraw all Zephyrian forces from Earth space and deliver a message to your empire. What message? Morrison's expression became deadly serious. Earth is under human protection. Any species that threatens this planet or any human colony will face the full military might of humanity. We have your technology now, Commander. We have your faster-than-light capabilities, your weapons, your shields, and your communications. But we have something you don't have. Which is, we have the will to use them. The bridge of Dominion's edge fell silent as the implications sank in. The Zephyrian Empire had built its power on technological superiority over peaceful species, but they had just armed the most militaristic civilization in the galaxy. Sir, the tactical officer whispered, long-range sensors are detecting multiple contacts leaving Earth's surface. They appear to be human vessels equipped with our faster-than-light drives. How many? 12? No, 20. Sir, I'm reading at least 50 contacts and the number is growing. Morrison smiled grimly. We've been building spacecraft since the 1960s, Commander. The only thing we lacked was a proper drive system. Thank you for providing that missing component. Vexitar watched in horror as humanity's first interstellar fleet took shape around Earth. The ships were crude by Zephyrian standards, clearly built in haste using available materials. But they were functional, they were armed with captured technology, and they were crewed by a species that had never lost a war it was determined to win. "This is your final warning," Morrison continued. "Withdraw your forces immediately, or we will demonstrate why Earth has remained unconquered for 4 billion years. "You cannot defeat the entire Zephyrian Empire," Vextar said desperately. "We have thousands of ships, millions of warriors. Commander, we have 7 billion humans, and every single one of them now has access to your technology. How do you think those odds work out?" The answer came from an unexpected source: the ship's artificial intelligence. "Commander Vextar," the AI announced in its emotionless voice, "I have completed tactical analysis of human military capabilities based on observed data. Recommendation: immediate withdrawal and negotiation of peace treaty." "Analysis," Vextar demanded. "Human adaptation rate exceeds all known parameters. They have successfully reverse-engineered and improved our technology in 6 hours. Projected timeline for human military parity with Zephyrian forces, 36 hours. Projected timeline for human military superiority, 72 hours. The bridge crew stared at each other in disbelief. "Furthermore," the AI continued, "analysis of human historical military data suggests they possess tactical and strategic capabilities far exceeding our own. They have fought continuous warfare for their entire recorded history. Our forces have fought only peaceful civilizations. Probability of Zephyrian victory in extended conflict: less than 2%. Morrison's voice filled the bridge one final time. "Commander, I'm going to tell you something that might save your empire. Humanity has been alone in the universe for our entire existence. We've fought each other because we had no other enemies to fight. Now we know we're not alone, and we're very interested in meeting our new neighbors. Some of them will be friends. Some of them will be enemies. Which category your empire falls into is entirely up to you." Vexitar looked around his bridge at officers who had helped conquer 17 star systems. They were the finest military minds in the Zephyrian Empire, veterans of campaigns that had brought entire civilizations to their knees. And every single one of them was staring at him with fear in their eyes. "What are your terms?" he asked quietly. "Simple. Immediate withdrawal of all Zephyrian forces from Earth space, return of all prisoners taken during the invasion, and a formal treaty recognizing human independence and territorial sovereignty. And in return, we won't come to Zephyr Prime and show you what a real war looks like." The missile that humanity had launched earlier chose that moment to detonate in the Zephyr system's asteroid belt. The explosion was visible on long-range sensors, a brilliant flash that announced humanity's arrival on the galactic stage. "Agreed," Vextar said, his voice barely above a whisper. 2 hours later, the last Zephyrian transport departed Earth's atmosphere, carrying the survivors of the invasion force. Captain Zorthak remained behind as part of the prisoner exchange negotiations, but General Morrison had made it clear that all prisoners would be returned once formal treaties were signed. As Dominion's edge jumped to faster-than-light speed, Commander Vextar composed his report to the Zephyrian High Command. How could he explain that the most powerful military force in the galaxy had been defeated by primitive creatures using their own technology against them? But as he stared out at the stars, Vexitar realized that the galaxy had just changed forever. Humanity was no longer confined to one small blue planet. They were out here now, among the stars, carrying their weapons and their will to fight wherever they went. The Zephyrian Empire had sought to conquer Earth. Instead, they had taught humanity how to conquer the galaxy. And somewhere in the vast darkness of space, on a small blue world that had never known defeat, 7 billion humans were building ships and dreaming of stars they had never seen before. The age of human expansion had begun.